Sometimes, it only takes one rainy afternoon to realize who you can really count on. This is the story of a choice I made, a choice between protecting my children or pleasing others. Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you might rethink what it truly means to stand your ground. My name is Elena, I'm 31 years old, and life with my children had been wrapped in a fragile peace before this story unfolded. My father, Richard, had been dating Sandra for over 2 years. Sandra had a 6-year-old son, Ethan. Even though I never considered Ethan my brother, I genuinely liked the boy. He was sweet, polite, and got along wonderfully with my 5-year-old son, Noah. I had babysat Ethan several times when my father was busy. We'd build Lego towers, bake cookies, and Noah would eagerly show off his collection of model cars to Ethan. To me, our relationship felt like gentle ripples on the surface of a family bond that had never fully taken shape. I never deluded myself into thinking Richard and Sandra would be forever. But that day, I remember it vividly. It had been raining heavily since morning. I was rushing to pick up Noah from school, while Lily, my newborn daughter, lay peacefully in her car seat. Every raindrop tapping against the window made me more anxious, yearning to get home quickly. A sudden text from my father popped up. "Elena, I've got an emergency. I can't pick up Ethan. Can you help?" I didn't want to refuse, but Ethan's school was a 20-minute drive away from Noah's. Ethan also got out earlier, meaning Noah would have to wait in the rain for nearly half an hour. Adding to that, Lily was too young to stay strapped in a car seat for too long. I replied clearly, "I'm really sorry, but I can't. Please understand." Less than 10 minutes later, while stuck in traffic, my phone lit up with another message, this time from Sandra. I didn't even glance at it. The safety of Noah and Lily came above everything. When I finally reached Noah's school, I saw him waiting with his tiny yellow umbrella, looking so small against the gray sky. As he climbed into the car, a heavy feeling settled in my chest. Later, I received another text from my father. Ethan had to wait 40 minutes in the rain. I felt sorrow, but not guilt. I had made the best decision for my children. Over the next few days, my father and Sandra grew cold. Calls became short, texts half-hearted. A gray cloud seemed to loom over our relationship. At a family gathering that Sunday, while everyone else laughed and chatted, I could feel Sandra's icy gaze from across the room. I told myself, stay calm, stay kind, for the sake of the kids. But the moment I returned home, my phone rang. It was Sandra. Her voice trembled with anger. "How can you be so cheerful after leaving Ethan out in the rain for 40 minutes? An argument erupted. Richard joined in, siding with Sandra. I couldn't hold back anymore. I demanded, "Why didn't you or Sandra pick up Ethan yourselves?" And that's when the truth slipped out. "We went to the movies," Richard admitted. The film ran longer than expected. Hollow silence. There had been no emergency. Just a movie, prioritized over parental responsibility. I replied, each word sharp and measured. "I'm truly sorry Ethan has a mother like Sandra. Don't expect me to help you again." I hung up. Not out of anger, but out of heartbreak. My father called back a few hours later. He apologized for lying and for being distant. But he still insisted. You shouldn't have insulted Sandra over an innocent mistake. I ended the call in silence. No arguments. No forgiveness. Some cracks, once formed, can never be mended. A week passed. I didn't reach out to Richard or Sandra, and they didn't either. Every conversation felt awkward, like actors fumbling through a scene no one knew how to finish. I wasn't surprised when Sandra avoided me at family gatherings. She still poured sugary sweetness onto others, but between her and me, an invisible wall had solidified. I sometimes wondered if I had been too harsh. Was a harsh truth heavier than a silent withdrawal? Should I have been gentler, less explosive? But every time I recalled Ethan, shivering alone under the rain, while his parents lingered in the warmth of a movie theater, I knew I had done the right thing. One Saturday afternoon, Richard invited me and the kids over for dinner. Lily and Noah giggled and ran around the small backyard. I spotted Richard sitting alone on a wooden bench. I walked over. "Good evening, Dad." Richard smiled faintly. "Sit down, Elena. Can we talk?" I lowered myself onto the bench beside him and waited. "Sandra, she's still upset," Richard began. "I know she's not perfect. None of us are. But she truly loves Ethan." I answered softly. I never doubted that Sandra loves Ethan. But that's exactly why it's not okay for her to put personal enjoyment before his safety. Richard looked away, his gaze distant. That day, we just thought we needed a little more time for ourselves. "We all need that," I acknowledged gently. "But being a parent doesn't mean abandoning responsibility." Richard nodded slowly. "You're right." Over time, my relationship with my father returned to a fragile normalcy, though never as it once was. With Sandra, there remained only a courteous distance. I realized some fractures in family bonds, no matter how carefully patched, never fully heal. I learned how to guard my boundaries, gently but firmly. To place the safety and respect for myself and my children above all else. And most importantly, I learned to forgive myself for making hard but necessary choices when it mattered most. There are moments in life that strip away a bit of our innocence, but gift us a deeper strength. I no longer expect everyone to always do the right thing. But I've learned this: protecting your boundaries isn't selfish, it's an act of love, for yourself and for those who depend on you. The rain from that day still lingers in my memory. But inside me, a new kind of peace has quietly taken root.